Here we have it, the global chessboard. This is a Pacific-centered map. So Australia's in the centre, is the Pacific. You have Australia here in the centre, of course. And when you look at it, you probably look at it like Rupert Murdoch and see that the whole world is pretty much in a radius. Be a good place, wouldn't it, to run the new global order and the new economic system. Right, so this is, I'll explain what I believe will happen over the coming years, 2015, 2016 and 2017. Right, here we have South America, here we have North America, here we have the massive Russian land mass, or Eurasia. It's big, isn't it? The African continent, old Europe, China, India, right, really important countries, the Middle East, Central Asia, Southeast Asia. Okay. Up here we've got Greenland and Iceland, and here the most powerful little bunch of people for centuries. That's where all the trouble started, just in here basically. Okay, so what do the global psychopaths have planned? Right, let's start with America. The borders are open now between Mexico and the United States, it seems. So they are, I believe they want all the riffraff out of Central America and Mexico, and they want them all up in America, into the United States of America, all the illegals amongst all the citizens, probably to the biggest, the closest ratio they can. But considering the numbers, it could get to about a ratio of one illegal immigrant to every 5 or 6 Americans. That's their grand intention, if you ask me. We've got some riffraff around here too, but I think as things improve, they will sort themselves out. South American countries, they want to get involved with the BRICS nations. Well, they are part of the BRICS nations. And we will see a lot of Asia and South America into action in the future. I'm an Australian. I've lived in China. I know a lot about, well, I've known a lot of powerful people in politics, and I've worked in the corporate propaganda field at an international level. I mean really at an international level. And I have a bit of an insight into this. I lived in Shenzhen in China quite some time. Okay, I was there when in the early 90s, and I saw capitalism collide with communism in the strangest way. It sorted itself out a fair bit now. Okay, in this area here we have 3 billion people practically. I don't know what the accurate number is, but it'd be very close. Because you've got about 1 point something billion here, 1.3 here, and then there's a few more 100 million in and around here. Okay, so it's getting close to the 3 billion mark. I think the global psychopaths want to control this from now on. That's why all the gold is going there, and a new monetary system will spring up out of this area, and these people will become the new middle class of the planet. And wouldn't that be profitable? Bringing 3 billion people to a new middle class, which is almost half the world's population. Okay, let's start over here, where I was before. Yeah, America, well, I think they want America to destroy itself by collapsing the dollar. That won't happen until all the new currency mechanisms in place, if you ask me, because I do believe to some degree that either in partnership, I don't think they're leading it, but in partnership I do think global psychopaths are involved in the new BRICS bank. In fact, I could show you some things. I don't have trying to do it now, but that may lead you to believe that. Righto, what do we have here? We have nothing but trouble waiting for America. Let me say also that I don't think the global psychopaths are going to win in the end. I don't think they can. There's too few of them, and the destruction that they will cause will not have them find safe refuge anywhere on this planet. So, but we will go through absolute chaotic turmoil until that happens, because it will take a great global tragedy, perhaps a third world war, to bring us all to our senses. The United States of America was taken over in a coup, a violent coup, in 9/11, 2001. We had the Bush family take over the United States of America and all their supporters. And there's plenty of evidence on YouTube to prove that. So what will happen? I think they'll wait till they have to wait till the economic situation, this new BRICS situation, is set up. Then they'll collapse the dollar for sure. They'll choose to do it. It'll be like pushing a button. That's what I believe. The dollar will collapse, and within weeks, America will go into turmoil. There's lots of preppers in America, but there's also lots of non-preppers in America, so they'll wait till these people run out of all their resources, which will happen in weeks to months, and then there'll be house-to-house fighting, and in the street. It'll be less so up near the Canadian border, but down in Middle America and southern United States and New York, etc., it's going to be horrendous. The people in the farmland areas, of course, will probably be the survivors, as will up around here. The global psychopaths want a population reduction agenda as well. So, and America is a moral nation, basically. People are. America was a great experiment. Based on following two particular documents, which is the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And that's why they want to wipe out America. So after, I think, Americans have tried to, almost destroyed themselves, they could end up hitting the place, chemtrail the whole place with viruses just to clean up the mess. And down here we have Costa Rica and Panama, and of course Cuba and Guantanamo Bay. So they'll be able to defend any exodus then from the United States back into Central America. The fighting will be down here as well, because once the dollar collapses, Mexico's had it. The whole world has, actually. Any country whose currency rides on the US dollar is pretty well done for, especially Australia. I'm an Australian, and where things for us are not good at all. I mean, we're just a giant quarry. Well, our manufacturing has gone to Asia like everyone else's. Okay, so unfortunately, we'll see what happens. I think Alaska will end up becoming part of Canada. The Canadians might move a bit north to get away from it, because no one's going to run up there to that freezing part of town. So they'll be okay, and I think anyone that's left and survives this outcome will just get a pat on the back and say, well done, for survival of the fittest. Why will they do that? Well, I'm predicting that there's probably be a mass exodus from China into America as well, to expand this new population, the new middle class. This will turn into like 1950s USA. Right? Everyone will be working, everyone will have money to spend, the economy will thrive, and there'll be lots of credit card issued, and everyone will be making the bankers all very rich over again. This is if the psychopaths get their way. What else? We've got old Europe here. We've got trouble in the Ukraine. As we know, as I do this, it's late August 2014. So we have Poland as well. So we've got trouble. I think they want to annex, these globalists will want to annex Europe back to itself, greater Europe again. I don't think the EU's over, to tell you the truth. I really don't. There's Poland, there's the Ukraine, there's Turkey. So they'll probably try and control these three countries, right, to annex old Europe. Countries like Sweden, Finland and Norway and all that, they'll be left to their own devices. Right, these 3 billion people here, right, they will need to consume stuff, and I believe it will be manufactured in the African continent. We have an Ebola breakout here at the moment. I think it's deliberate. I think they have released one strain of Ebola, and I do believe they will release another strain of Ebola that's more virulent, and it'll probably be chemtrailed over the continent. I think they want to wipe out a lot of people here so they can form a new type of nation or manufacturing country to produce goods to be consumed here and here and here. And it's strange that Ebola's broken out now because the sun is now leaving, well, it's not, in our perspective, the sun is crossing the Tropic of Cancer, across the equator. There's the equator through that region, crossing the equator, and this will take the next 5 months or so to come down into the southern hemisphere, and summer begins on the 1st of December in the southern hemisphere or in Australia. So there's going to be a lot of hot temperatures in this region across there, but the Ebola breaking out here now is God, that could really turn into something, this Ebola outbreak. That could just really clean up the place, wipe so many Africans out in their nations. Oh, hell, who knows? Right, we have continuous trouble in the Middle East as usual. We have ISIS and everything going berserk in there now. What do I believe they intend there? Well, I don't think that this new economy will be petroleum based at all. I think there'll be a massive public transport system set up in here. It'll be a growth of the fat middle class without the automobile this time, where America was led by the automobile. There's no mistake, China is on the moon. They're up there looking for that helium-3 to bring back to the Earth for the replacement of petroleum oil, perhaps, because petroleum, we need to keep a lot of petroleum. Even if we take the personal motor vehicle away, we need petroleum to airlines and ships and trains and public transport, and we consume a huge amount of petroleum to make products. Some 50,000 of them, I think. So I'm not saying that oil's going to run out, but they're going to cut back on it around this period of time here. They'll probably use they want the helium-3 for nuclear fusion energy. And like I said, there's no mistake that they're on the moon right this time. So what'll happen? I think with ISIS and the Muslims and all their problems with each other, the Sunni and the Shia and everything, blah blah, and their law that they'll implement, no doubt, that will send this area back to the Dark Ages. My God, they'll wipe each other out until there's just two of them left. Right, so what do we have? We have a lot of gold going to China. They'll need that for the new currency, and whether it'll be called the yuan, I doubt if it'll be called the yuan. It may do, but a new currency will come, a new global currency will come out of China for sure on the BRICS nations, because the amount of gold they have is enormous. They have enormous gold, they have enormous gold, but China in particular has enormous gold, because a lot of gold they acquire comes from, and this is why I think the globalists may be involved in this new BRICS bank. They wouldn't control it, but they'd be partners to it. I pretty much believe that, because a lot of gold is mined by mining companies like Rio Tinto and Newcrest, and that's coming out of Australia. And the gold being dug up in Australia, it's put into a concentrate first, which is like gold water. And then that goldish water is piped to railway lines, and then it's dried out or desiccated in these sheds, and then it's put onto these, like a sort of a crusty cake, onto trains, and then it's shipped from the trains onto boats that go to China. And there's hundreds of tons of this happening a month. So we have Australia here producing a lot of gold that's off the books or not recorded, that's going into China. So whatever you think the Chinese have in gold deposits, I reckon you can triple it, and it's coming out of here and around this area as well. So gold being mined from gold mines in these places is going to China, and they're also buying it from where? Europe, I suppose, and they're getting it from wherever they can. Canada will be left alone. It's part of the British Empire, like Australia is and like New Zealand is. Yeah, these two little islands over here, they've caused a lot of trouble throughout history. A lot of trouble over the last few hundred years. They basically still control Wall Street over in the US. Yeah, well, I've basically explained it. They'll have to annex Europe, so they won't want any boat people exiting Africa to go into Europe. So the Mediterranean will be patrolled. Southern Spain here will have to have an army to stop boat people crossing there from Morocco. And Israel. Yeah, because the caliphate will be set up with very few people left, perhaps. Israel probably won't have much to worry about. It's got an ally there in the globalists with Turkey and so Russia has a lot of resources, a lot of oil. There's a lot of oil and gas here. There's a lot of oil and gas in and around here. There's a lot of oil and gas here, and there's a lot of oil and gas here. So we won't be running out of that for a while, but they'll probably curb its use from now on. They'll bring it down a bit. So the dollar won't be backed with petroleum oil, the black gold anymore. It'll be backed by nice shiny gold coming out of Hong Kong, Shanghai. Basically, that'd be it, I think. I think there'll probably be a mass exodus of the minions of the globalists, because they'll need them to help them out. This is if they succeed, of course. I'm not saying they're going to succeed. I'm just giving you my opinion of the strategy, so you might be able to consider it yourself and see what they're up to. There'll be a mass exodus of, pollies, all those that think they're going to get a seat beside the throne. We'll see. They're usually the ones that are first dragged out into the quadrangle, isn't it, and executed in front of everyone, and say, do not be a traitor. But anyway, those that it'll be the business elites in their jets and jumbos and stuff. They'll probably come down here to Uruguay. And we all know that Argentina has been a safe haven for a lot of nasty people. Brazil and, of course, Chile. So this will be a pretty safe place. Australia's pretty useless. Everyone here watches football and doesn't pay attention to politics, whatever. They think it's just and it's compulsory to vote too, by the way. It's just an absolutely boring chore on the day that they have to go and do it. Yeah, if this place isn't attacked by apathy, Australia will probably make its way. I also believe that there'll be a mass exodus of the elite from the so-called elite, I like to call them global psychopaths, to set up operations to run probably Asia from Australia, because the most beautiful places in the world are up around here. I mean, it is living in tropical paradise for sure. There's tens of thousands of islands and stuff all in and around here, so some islands are as big as tennis courts, and some islands are as big as, kilometres by kilometres. There's plenty of places for people to hide, but the mass exodus of these globalists will probably come here, because it's only about a 5-6 hour trip, less than that, to get to China from here in the Learjet. So they could definitely run this area from Australia, which has never had a revolution or anything else, apart from the riots in good old Cronulla, where I used to live. Rightio, so yeah, basically that's it. The only other thing I'll say is that if with this bail-in business, there's Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and other European countries, whatever, have decided to take the depositors' money as unsecured creditors of banks. I don't know really how that's going to work, because we all know that with fractional reserve banking, the banks keep only about 10% of the money in the bank. The other 90% that they've multiplied by 900% is lent out. So how they can then take 90% of people's deposits, and it's not even there. It's 30% of it's not there. They might take 60%, there's 50% of it's not there. I don't know how that's going to work. If you ask me, the whole just economic system will collapse, and that'll be the end of it. They'll have to restart it again out of China, and that's how the global currency will come into play. But I can't see, I don't know, if you look at all the problems in the world, you can say that they're either caused by the Nazi Zionists or the British Empire, who, may have some of them amongst their realm, want to control the world and destroy the world at the same time. I don't think perhaps the Chinese have that in mind, but I'm sure they're getting help from the global psychopaths at the moment. Maybe they might turn their back on them later down the road. But okay, that's my opinion of things, and there you have it.